Hello happy souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. My beautiful friends, I have your favourite reading today. We are asking you and them what is going on in this relationship. These are not necessarily twin flame focused readings. They are, of course, for everybody. You know, all of my readings are about having happy, healthy relationships with yourself and others, developing awareness around what's happening in those connections so that you can move forward for your highest good. So don't worry if you're not a twin flame or a soulmate. These are love readings. They're for everybody. Now, I just want to say before I start a big, huge thank you to everybody who has been sending me donations and watching my adverts. You guys are absolute legends. I appreciate you so much. It really does make the world of difference to me. And also a big shout out to the lovely River who sent me this beautiful deck, the Spiral Tarot. We're using it in pile 3 today. You guys really are so generous in sending me decks. I appreciate it so much. And it really does help to keep my readings fresh. If you would like to donate a deck, you can find my Amazon wishlist in the description box below. I appreciate all energy exchanges, whether it's PayPal or a deck or just watching one of my adverts really helps. It's not obligated, it's not expected, but it's very much appreciated. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. And welcome to all of my new subscribers. If you've just found my channel, I hope you do choose to subscribe. It's a real pleasure to share these readings with you, to share this journey with you. I am so grateful to be here. I've just switched the light on because it's a bit grey today, so hopefully the lighting's still good. Okay, let's get this show on the road. I have got 3 piles for you. The first pile is the lovely Omens Tarot with hexagon quartz. The second pile is the Luminous Tarot with amethyst, and the third pile is this Spiral Tarot, a lovely gift from River, with the Celestite Heart. Take your time choosing. There's no right or wrong way. You may find that you're drawn to more than one pile, and that just means there's messages in more than one pile for you. And remember, all of my readings are timeless, so trust that you found it at the right time for you. And make sure you make a note in the comments of which pile you've watched, because you may be drawn back to this video at a later date and another pile might be right for you then. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to move piles 2 and 3 out of the way. Now, okay. Pile 1, the lovely Omens Tarot with clear quartz. Now, I'm actually going to use 3 decks for this reading. This deck is going to be for the Divine Feminine energies on the left. For the Divine Masculine energies on the right, I'm going to use the High Tarot. And you can still buy the first edition of this deck. It's by Dan Francis, a friend of mine. He's actually going to be designing my Oracle deck. Oh, yes, it's coming your way very soon. We're hoping by next spring. I'm super excited about this. But yeah, if you want to pick this up, there's a link in the description box below. And I'm also using today the Oak Ash Thorn Tarot for the connecting energies. This is another beautiful new independently created deck. I'm very happy to use it and to promote this creator because it really is beautiful. So again, you can find information about all the decks I use in the description box below. Now, to begin with, I'm going to choose an animal oracle card. One for the Divine Masculine, one for the Divine Feminine. And just remember that none of my readings are gender specific. Okay, I try and be as inclusive as possible using the gender pronouns they and them. But when I'm doing this reading, I will refer to the Divine Feminine as she and the Divine Masculine as he, just so you know who I'm talking about, and also just to keep it easier for me when I'm channeling. But it's not gender specific. You might be he, she, he, she, you know, just adjust the pronouns as you see fit. Decide which side you're on, or it may become apparent as I speak which side you're on. But don't pay too much attention to the gender pronouns. If they don't fit your situation, just adjust them. Okay, so the Divine Feminine is coming up as owl energy. The Divine Masculine is coming up as shark energy. And the Divine Feminine, the connecting energies is orca. Beautiful. So I'm going to shuffle the other decks. Let's move your crystal out of the way. So for the lovely Omens Tarot. Now, I do work with reversals when I'm reading. As you can see, I riffle shuffle the cards, so there should be an equal number of them, both upright or reversed, and the cards will come out as they're intended. A reverse card isn't necessarily a negative message, so please don't panic. A few people have asked about this recently in the comments, and thank you for all your lovely comments, by the way. I appreciate them so very much. I really do. Oh, and you guys, whilst I'm shuffling, I have just announced new classes on my website. Now, all of the people that were on my website mailing list have had a head start. The mediumship for beginners class is very nearly sold out. There's only a couple of spaces left on each. It begins in January, and that's the class that connects you to your spirit guides, which is incredibly useful if you're on the spiritual path, because it means you can tap in to all of the guidance and love available to you through your guides. I'm also doing my Return to One class again. This is a surrender and healing class, and I think probably the class I was truly built to do. I'm absolutely loving the present one that I'm running. If you guys want to work with me, it's a very small, tight-knit group. I'm so excited about this one. I love working in such a close manner with my students. It's a very intimate class because there's only 11 of us, and we get to share our journey. I share all the tools and techniques I've used to heal with you. So do check them out on my website. It's happysouls1111.com. Okay, quick shuffle for the High Tarot, and then we're going to get this show on the road. And don't forget to follow me over on Instagram, Happy Souls 1111 over there. I haven't posted for a while, but I'm going to be getting back into the swing of that. It's just been really tricky post-lockdown and all of the shifts and changes to maintain a regular schedule, as I'm sure my loyal subscribers have noticed, but I am trying to get back into the full-time swing of things. Right, let's do this. So for our Divine Feminine, what are her current energies as far as this connection is concerned? We have got the Queen of Cups in reverse. We have got the Hermit. And we have got the Tower in reverse. And how's she thinking and feeling about this connection? We've got the Hierophant in reverse. We've got the Knight of Wands in reverse. And we have the Devil. And what's shifting for this Divine Feminine? We've got the Five of Wands in reverse, the King of Pentacles in reverse, and the Ten of Swords in reverse. I'm just going to check that these are in shot. Pretty much just going to shift it down a tiny bit. There we go. Right, so for our masculine, what are the current energies for him? We have got the Siren, which is the Devil, the Four of Wands in reverse. This really is a beautiful deck by Dan Francis. I love it. The Page of Wands in reverse. And how's he thinking and feeling about this connection? We've got the World in reverse. We've got the Three of Wands. And we've got the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And what's shifting for this Divine Masculine? We've got the Chariot, the Three of Swords, and the Fool in reverse. Now for the connecting energies down the middle from the beautiful Oak Ash Thorn Tarot, we've got the Three of Cups in reverse, the Five of Pentacles in reverse, and the Seven of Cups in reverse. Okay, now I am going to be drawing some oracle cards and charms for you guys as well, and some guidance cards from my own kind of handwritten decks. So stay tuned. Right, let's do this. Divine Feminine is in Owl energy. This is the energy of wisdom. It's the energy of self-discovery, the energy of harmony, and of being truly connected to that innate knowing. So I do feel like this Divine Feminine is quite highly evolved on her journey, but it feels like she's also experiencing some really turbulent and difficult energies right now. We've got the Queen of Cups in reverse here for her, and I feel like she's very much detached from her masculine. She's feeling very resentful. You know, she's been giving so much love. She's been so compassionate. She's been so very patient, and it feels like her patience has run out. At the moment, she's in this Hermit energy. She's very much focused on herself. She's focused on radical self-reflection, self-discovery, and just really nurturing her inner being. She's focused on her own light. I do feel she's stepped back. She wants to avoid any more pain. She wants to avoid any more trauma in this connection. And I feel recently she's been very triggered, and she's recognized this need to step back, to focus on herself. I do feel that where she's previously been in alignment, she isn't so much at the moment. For sure, with this Queen of Cups in reverse, it feels like her heart is blocked and that love isn't flowing as unconditionally as she would otherwise prefer. However, I do feel, as I said, that this is a highly evolved Divine Feminine. She knows how to tap in to all of the available spiritual resources to help bring herself back to balance, to help her feel better about life, about love, about this connection. So, you know, she is growing. It just feels like this is a blip. I mean, the energies have been incredibly challenging. At the time of posting this, it's actually the blue moon today, and it really does feel like it's peaked. Now, I feel alive and fabulous with it, but I know that's not the case for many. And the ascension symptoms during this period can be quite rough. We're also in a Mercury retrograde at the time of posting, which challenges communication. So I just feel like she's detached. She may have blocked her counterpart. She may have, stopped communication or started avoiding the connection just for her own sanity and peace of mind. She knows that's perhaps not the healthiest decision, that these are rigid barriers that she's placed rather than boundaries, but she's also not feeling guilty about that, and neither should she. She's forgiving herself for taking the space she needs for herself. And actually, in real terms, I feel like this divine feminine really has tolerated a lot of crap from this divine masculine. I really do feel that she has been so very patient. And it's easy to say, that we shouldn't block them, or we shouldn't be triggered, or we shouldn't feel like we have. But even though she's been thrown out of alignment, she is recognizing her own power to bring herself back. She's loving herself enough to step away from something that is hurting her and not serving her. She's reached a point in her life where if a relationship or an interaction doesn't measure up to her value or her sense of self-worth, that she's able to detach and do what's right for her. It doesn't matter how much she loves this person, she's going to take care of herself first. So in many respects, she's really grown and she's in a better place, but she's still finding the present energies challenging. Now, the divine masculine is showing up in shark energy. And, this is called purpose, but shark is quite an aggressive predator. And I do feel that, this person has been chasing relentlessly. They've been very keen, very kind of showing up, and then they've suddenly gone cold. And it's this confusing energy, this push-pull energy, this back and forth that this divine feminine has kind of got frustrated and annoyed with. This is the kind of energy as where 1 minute he's blowing hot, he's full of charm and flattery and affection, and the next minute he's completely vanished. And I just feel like this divine feminine's run out of patience. She knows she deserves more, but the masculine here is in this codependent energy. He's feeling her pull back and he's triggered. He's feeling those chains tug at him and he doesn't like it. It makes him feel out of control. And I feel like this, the feminine energy here, having stepped back, stepped away, stepped back into her power and kind of left this divine masculine to his mess, he's feeling somewhat rejected, he's feeling abandoned, and he's wondering if this connection can ever actually go anywhere. His fear is much greater than the feminine counterparts. And so when she pulls back, he panics. When she pulls back, she knows that there's going to be a coming together again. She has this wisdom, this faith. But this masculine's not so sure, and he's feeling quite trapped. He really doesn't know how to deal with this. With the moth or page of wands in reverse, I feel like there is some resistance here on his part. This is stubborn pride. He's not willing to communicate. He's not willing to transform. And remember, we've got the moth here, which is a symbol of moving out of the dark towards the light. This masculine isn't taking responsibility for his own well-being. He's not facing his shadow self. He's not recognizing his own codependent and very unhealthy relationship patterns. And I feel like he actually swings between feeling codependent but demonstrating avoidant behaviours. He feels so vulnerable in this connection that he's really not able to show up as being authentic, and he doesn't know what he wants. He feels magnetised towards some kind of reunion or committed relationship, but he doesn't know how to have it. I do feel like, in contrast to his feminine, this divine masculine is not so evolved. He doesn't have the same level of emotional maturity, and there are lots of lessons that he needs to resolve yet. I'm picking up, for some of you, there's certainly a karmic energy here. Karmic energy is not always necessarily a romantic relationship, but for sure there are relationships, whether familial, whether at work, whether romantic, that are really inhibiting him from moving forward. And it's because he's so resistant and reluctant to learning those lessons, to moving towards the light. He's not taking responsibility for himself. In fact, I pick up quite a lot of victim energy here. This is the sort of person that blames all of his misfortune on other people. It's never him. He doesn't know how to be accountable for his life and the fact that he's creating more of the same because he refuses to make different choices. So I can understand why this feminine is quite frustrated. Now, the connecting energies here is the orca, which is song lines. And I really feel that these two do connect fairly deeply and very affectionately and emotionally at an astral level. That's to say, in spirit, their connection is alive and kicking, and they probably are able to meet here on the bridge. Meet one another on the bridge in this sense. But for sure, with the Three of Cups in reverse, that suggests to me there's definitely not been a reunion. There's probably been a separation for some time, largely dictated by the feminine's own resentment, because he wasn't showing up anyway. So it's kind of stopped everything dead in its tracks, and it just feels like a kind of stagnating energy right now. In terms of how they're feeling, this divine feminine is in this Hierophant reversed energy. So this does demonstrate that she's not seeing all of the lessons presented. And actually, it just feels like she's had enough of learning from this person. She's kind of thinking, right now, I've really struggled with this journey. I've worked so very hard. I'm a bit bored of having to be the bigger person. I'm a bit bored of having to always figure it out. And I just want to break from that. So she's in this Knight of Wands energy. She's feeling really empowered and really driven, but not necessarily with a focus on her masculine. It's interesting that the Devil shows up here, because I think this is the feminine, genuinely feeling that codependent pull because she's out of alignment and recognizing it as well, which is why she's pulled back, which is why she's cooled things down and stepped into this Knight energy rather than, the Queen of Cups upright. So for sure, this divine feminine, she still feels the connection. She still feels that longing, but she's also loving herself enough not to react to it in the way she used to, which would have been chasing. So even though she feels like chasing, even though her energy is out of balance, she is actually demonstrating a huge amount of self-restraint in not giving in to these codependent energies that are actually plaguing her right now. So I do think she's revisiting old cycles of pain, old cycles of learning, and she's really tired of that. She's sick of facing the same old crap. But you are guided to remember that sometimes we have to cycle back through our pain to see it from a higher perspective. So even though I very much understand how the divine feminine has reached this conclusion, the fact that the Devil's showing up, the fact that she is so triggered and she's trying to avert disaster, really does demonstrate where she's at and where she actually needs to focus her attention. Because the truth is, healing is an infinite process. It is an ongoing thing, and it's okay to be tired. It's okay to pull back, but she really does need to refocus. She really does need to remember that she's transitioning from one stage to another, and that requires learning. Oh, look, the sun's come out for us as well. Isn't that lovely? Okay, so our masculine knows this isn't over. With the world here in reverse and the stag here represented is such a masculine symbol. I really feel that he is very much in distorted masculine energies, and he's really not, even though he's not coming forward, he's not leaving either. He knows this isn't over. He knows it's going to flow back around, but at the moment he's also reluctant and resistant to coming forward. We've got the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, so it feels like this masculine simply does not feel worthy. They probably haven't got their shit together. This might be someone that's either not working or experiencing work problems, or they're having overall concerns in terms of their stable material world, which perhaps isn't as stable as it needs to be or could be. So, they are kind of in this energy of woe is me, I'm not good enough anyway. But with the Three of Wands, it does feel like there's an element of patience and strategy here. And this annoys me a little bit, because I know that the masculines, they're so confident in the feminines' dedication and unconditional love and loyalty, that when the feminine does pull back, even though they're quite triggered and that fear and anxiety does creep up and kind of make them think, oh my God, is this going to happen? At a deeper level, this masculine knows that she will be back. And so he is kind of playing the long game. He is waiting patiently. He knows that he's going to get her in the end, because he does have this deep-rooted faith in the longevity and eternal nature of the connection. I do feel like this masculine in particular may be very aware of the soulful nature of your connection, if that's what you're inquiring about. If you're a twin flame or a soulmate, this guy probably knows. if you're not a twin flame or a soulmate, it feels like you guys have been rumbling through these energies for quite some time, on and off, backwards and forwards. And deep down, you both know that it's going to work eventually, that you're meant to be together. And it certainly feels like this divine masculine knows that he, he does have this sense of, I just need to sit this out. He's triggered, he's upset, he does feel hurt and abandoned, but he knows this isn't over. He knows it's going to come back around. And actually, he's in this energy of thinking, well, it's probably not the right time for me anyway. I need to sort my stuff out. I need to bring some balance and stability to my life. The connecting energy here is very revealing. It's the Five of Pentacles in reverse. And of course, when the Five of Pentacles comes up in reverse as feelings, this demonstrates that neither party wants to face the rejection or abandonment. And that's why the energies are stagnating and no one's reaching out. The Divine Feminine doesn't want to put her ass on the line and, let him be rejected, because that's going to trigger her anger even more. And the Masculine just really isn't certain that she wants to communicate now and doesn't want to be ignored either. So it does feel like neither party is prepared to offer an olive branch at the moment. In terms of what's shifting, I do see the Divine Feminine really moving into much calmer waters. With the Five of Wands here in reverse, she's letting go of this silly game. And it is a silly game, ignoring each other and, waiting for the other to reach out and being stubborn about it. It's all a game. But in truth, that's what she needs to do at the moment. But she is moving out of that energy where she's going to just drop her defenses a bit more. But also she's no longer looking for commitment. This Divine Feminine's now moving into the energy of being perfectly self-satisfied in her own power. She's realised now that this Masculine's nowhere near ready, that he's probably not going to be able to measure up to her idea of what a healthy relationship looks like. She's recognising that it's not really personal, that it's to do with what he still needs to learn and move through in himself. So actually, I do feel like she's completely moving away from a desire to make this connection something committed and full in the interim. And with the Ten of Swords in reverse here, she's certainly moving out of that really difficult and painful energy that she may have been stuck in recently. This is about bringing that healing to a resolution. It's about finding more peace in the situation, in her heart space. So I do, she's detached already, but she's detached in anger. But what I'm seeing is that anger and pain dissipate, but she's still maintaining the same conclusion. This relationship isn't right for me right now. I deserve more. And so it does feel like a really sincere end of a cycle. She's finally letting go. She's moving into this energy of being really comfortable and happy without him. It hurts at the moment, but that hurt's going to dissipate quite quickly now. For the Masculine, of course, when the Divine Feminine moves back into balance and alignment and truly lets go, this is her stepping into union with herself. The Masculine is then triggered to take action. And we see with the Chariot here that all of a sudden he's going to feel inspired to meet her on the bridge. The Feminine's alignment and moving into a healthier or balanced state of mind triggers the Masculine to do the same. It's magnetizing him back towards the light. And so her power now becomes his power to heal. Her power to be confident in her solitude triggers him to now start turning towards her. And so we see this with this very divinely inspired enthusiasm and driven forward momentum here with the Chariot. And it's driving him towards healing with this Three of Swords energy, to really confronting the grief, the sorrow and the pain that has kept him stuck. There won't be a new beginning for this Divine Masculine as far as his counterparts what's the word? As far as his counterpart, he's not going to be, he's not going to be moving into a relationship with her because she's finally decided she doesn't want that. He's not prepared to take that leap of faith and put that on the table anyway. But he is moving back towards himself. He's recognizing the need to heal and to confront his own trauma and his own healing. The connecting energy here is the Seven of Cups in reverse. And for me, that's the rose-tinted spectacles coming off. It's the Divine Feminine is no longer idealizing this connection. She's seeing it in the cold, hard light of day, and she's recognizing recognizing that her masculine isn't ready and she doesn't want him when he's not ready. You know, she's now in this energy, or moving into this energy of thinking, okay, he's got to rise up and meet me. I'm not going to stay down here with the shadow, playing these silly games, waiting around for something that doesn't actually serve me right now. And indeed, the masculine, I feel like he's been in this energy of so long, of really thinking he could get away with all of this stop-start, hot-cold energy, because his divine feminine has been so unconditionally present, receptive, dedicated, focused. And I feel like it's going to be a bit of a shock to him to recognize that actually she's now stepped out of that energy. It doesn't mean she doesn't love him. It just means she now doesn't need him, that she's going to choose herself first. And so this is going to, snatch the rose-tinted glasses off his face in quite a brutal way as well. It's definitely both of them recognizing that, this isn't some romance movie that's a happy ever after. It's a real relationship that requires real work and effort. And until this masculine's prepared to actually step up, to rise up and meet his feminine, it's really not going to happen. And this divine feminine is now at peace with that. She's very comfortable with this being the case. So let's get some oracle cards as well. And I'm going to get some charms for you guys and some of the written messages for my own cards. So guidance for the divine feminine. I'm using this cute little deck. It's called the Island Time Wellness Love Oracle cards. Again, they're all listed in the description box below. Oh. We've got Passion, Clock, and the Snake. And for the divine feminine, we've got Love. For the masculine, we've got Love, the Palm Tree, and Paradise. And the handwritten messages from Spirit. Boundaries, not barriers. There's going to be a seismic shift soon. Are you ready? You're already in union. Separation is an illusion. For the masculine, this is not a normal relationship and you cannot make it so. Every experience offers a gift, and your thoughts determine your feelings and energy. Okay, and let's get some charms for you too. One more for the feminine. Okay, so we have got Friends Don't Lie, I'm a Stupid Baby, the Yin Yang, Living in Perpetual Sin, and Fake News. For the masculine, we've got Babe with the Power, Without You I Feel Lost at Sea, the Hourglass, and the Tape Measure, and a piece of clear quartz. Okay, so let's start with the divine feminine. Friends Don't Lie. A nice Stranger Things connection there. So I do feel like this divine feminine needs to be real, and she needs to be friends at the very least. She's guided to have fun, to step into the energy of commanding equality in this connection. But, with boundaries, not barriers here as well, and the friends don't lie. If you've been kind of, keeping yourself available for your masculine, and you're now choosing not to do that, you need to be real, not to trigger him or to manipulate him, but just to say, look, I'm not going to wait in the wings for someone that isn't going to show up for me. I can't do that for you anymore. It's not that I'm out there looking for someone else, but neither do I want to be tied to someone who isn't, there for me. And so I need to be free. I need the freedom and space to have fun. But you are guided to keep the lines of communication open. You don't want to block him and cut him off completely. Ideally, you want to be open and receptive and supportive, whilst also taking your power back and, really moving on with your own life. This is a new cycle, and it does say here that there's this huge shift coming soon and you need to be ready for it. This is about progress. And I really feel with this I'm a Stupid Baby one coming up, and the fact that it's blue and yellow, the colours of truth and triggering, I feel like you are closing out this inner child cycle, this cycle of inner child healing that is being brought to a close. And this is what's going to help your divine masculine and feminine energies within you come back into balance, because the whale as a mammal has the biggest heart of all living beings, and so for me, I just feel like the shift is actually your heart coming into alignment and balance, and it glowing brighter and bigger than it ever has before. We've got the snake here, and also the living in perpetual sin. Now, the white rose is a symbol of purity and innocence, but of course it's wrapped in this kind of dark banner or ribbon with these words on it. It's coming out above the snake, which is about maliciousness and sneakiness. It suggests to look over your shoulder, and I just feel that you need to be mindful of your protection at this stage, because when your heart's glowing and you're stepping into your power, you become a vulnerable target for darker forces that want to subdue your light. So, be careful about fake information. I'm picking up that this is someone that's maybe compromised and they're stirring the pot. This is someone that might be gossiping, sharing rumours that aren't true, or trying to stir up trouble between you, or generally bringing their low vibrational energy and communication into your zone of awareness. You're guided to recognise that you are living perpetually around sin, around lower vibrational energies. It presents both in people, in places, in circumstances. So there's a need here for protection and a high level of discernment against the kind of gossipy or shit stirring energies that might present. You're being reminded as well that you're already in union, that it's this separation that's a union, that's an illusion, and you are returning back to this truth that you are one. You're already one. You don't need this person to show up physically. So you're being asked to really stay in faith and knowing of that power. For the divine masculine, it's so typical, isn't it? The minute this divine feminine pulls back, and remember, it is just energy. Energy doesn't lie. This is how it works. She's going to pull back. She's going to get aligned. She's going to step into her power. She's going to recognize her connection to love and all that is. And all of a sudden, this masculine's heart is blown open. And look, we've got this babe with the power charm here as well, with this piece of clear quartz. Clear quartz is piezoelectric. That's to say it generates more power and energy. And what this feels like is that with this divine feminine tremendous power, it's blowing open his heart to unconditional love, self-love, oneness, affection and attraction. And he's recognizing that this is not a normal relationship, and he can't make it so, that he's going to have to trust, he's going to have to surrender to the path and healing. He's going to have to pull his finger out and take action, because truly, without his divine feminine, he feels lost at sea. And for some of them, there's an indication here of drinking problems as well, unhealthy coping mechanisms that they need to address. And of course, we do see him, focusing on growth and stability. I mentioned earlier that his material world wasn't very stable, and so it feels like he's been triggered to actually take action and to start improving his situation, recognizing that the experiences are opportunities for him to grow. He's being asked to pay attention to all of the difficult circumstances he's facing, because whether he acknowledges it or not, he's created them himself. And so there is a need for him to step up and become accountable. And it is just a matter of time before he moves from light to dark. Everything is in motion now. Paradise, what a beautiful card to come up here. And with this tape measure, I feel like this masculine is learning to slow down. He needs to learn to temper and measure his thoughts and inner dialogue, and to recognize that it's his thoughts that create his feelings. If he can start mastering his thoughts and, cultivating a more positive, healthy mindset, he's moving towards happiness. He's moving towards oneness. He's moving into an energy where he and his divine feminine can start enjoying one another again, because for sure it feels like things have got too stagnant. He really hasn't made the effort. And it does feel like, as I said, he's got karmic situations. He's in the dark. He could be in a dark night of the soul, or experiencing depression or anxiety. He probably has some very, very valid reasons for not showing up in the way he otherwise would have wanted to, but he does need to take responsibility for his inconsistency, that it's not okay and it's not viable in a healthy relationship to just turn up when you feel like it. A stable, healthy relationship requires a high level of commitment, focus, dedication, and genuine sharing of where you are. And I feel like this masculine's just not been in a position to really be able to do that. So he's got to be accountable. It doesn't serve him to sit in this victim energy of, it's not fair, she was meant to love me unconditionally, why is she not here? Because, dude, she's got to start taking care of herself, just as you have. It's not her responsibility to make you feel good when you can be bothered to turn up. Yeah, that's the crux of that here. I feel like this masculine just hasn't been able to be inconsistent. And as I said, there's probably some really valid reasons for that, but it doesn't detract from the fact that he's just not showing up. This divine feminine's had enough. This masculine's about to find out what kind of work he needs to do to make it happen, because the desire to make it happen is already stirring within him as a result of this divine feminine coming into union with herself. Whew, I really hope that helped part one. If you did enjoy this reading, please hit the like button. Make sure you comment down below and let me know which pile you watched, especially because these readings are timeless and you might want to watch this video again and choose a different pile. So it really helps to make that note. And I love hearing from you. I love to hear about how it's resonated or not. Make sure you hit subscribe and tap the little bell icon if you would like to see more content like this. Don't forget to check out my new classes on my website, and I will see you next time. Lots of love. Bye. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Luminous Tarot with Amethyst. So happy for you to join me here today. And don't forget, while I'm shuffling, to check out my classes. I've just announced 2 new classes. Mediumship for Beginners, Connecting with Your Spirit Guides. This is a class I've offered. Well, it was the first one I ever offered and continue to offer. I'm on class, my 7th group. This will be my 8th. But it really is a beautiful, beautiful thing to get connected with your spirit guides. It gives you access to so many resources, love, comfort and support that you otherwise wouldn't have. It's my most popular class. It does sell out super quick. My mailing list had a head start on booking that. And I think there's only a couple of spaces in each group because there's 2 classes to suit different time zones. So if you're into doing that class, it starts in January, make sure you book it soon. I'm also offering places on my Return to One class, which is the Surrender and Healing class. You know, if you're in pain, if you're still struggling with self-love deficit, codependence, and you don't know how to heal, that is the class for you. I'll be sharing all the tips, tricks and techniques that I use to heal. It's a very intimate class with just 11 people per group. There'll be lots of time for us to share our journeys and our stories. It's a great way to meet other people on the journey and to connect with me in a very personal way. It's a beautiful class. I'm enjoying it so much, and I think, in all sincerity, probably the class that I was built to do. I'm loving it so much. I hope to see you there. Okay, part 2. I will be using 3 decks today. The deck you chose is for the Divine Feminine energies, the Oak Ash Thorn Tarot, which is a beautiful new independently created deck. You can find a link to it down below. These are for the connecting energies, and for the masculine energies I'll be using the High Tarot by Dan Francis. You can still get a first edition of this deck, by the way. There is a link down below as to where you can buy it, and Dan Francis will be designing my own oracle deck. Oh yes, it's coming to you hopefully next spring. Watch this space. Very, very excited. But let's begin. I'm going to use these Divine Animal Oracle cards first to get a significator for each counterpart. And by the way, guys, these readings aren't gender specific, and they're not just for twin flames and soulmates. All of my readings are about having healthy, happy relationships, about drawing to your awareness where you can improve on what's going on with your person. So if the spiritual stuff doesn't resonate, just leave it. You know, these readings are for everyone. There's valuable messages about love for everybody here. So our Divine Feminine is in the Tarantula energy. Our Divine Masculine is in the Fruit Bat Flying Fox energy. And the connecting energy here is the Snake. Okay. So I'm going to draw the cards for our Divine Feminine. I love this deck just because they're so shiny on the back. The images are actually quite subdued, but they're so pretty, aren't they? Right, so energies for our Divine Feminine. We've got 9 of Pentacles. We have got Strength in reverse. And we have got the 4 of Pentacles. And how's she feeling and thinking about this connection? We've got the 2 of Cups in reverse, the Hierophant in reverse, and the Hanged Man in reverse. What's shifting in this connection? We've got the Lovers in reverse, the 6 of Pentacles in reverse, and the 5 of Cups. Don't worry about reversals. I do read with them. It doesn't mean it's a negative message. It's just a blocked energy. A lot of people have commented about this recently. I just want to reassure you. But yeah, for gender pronouns, they're not gender specific. I'm going to refer to the Divine Feminine as she and the Divine Masculine as he. But your situation may be he, she, he, she. Just adjust them as you see fit. I obviously can't make it fit for everyone, but for ease of channeling, I'm going to use the she, he pronouns. I only do it in this reading specifically. Okay, 8 of Swords in reverse for current masculine energies. Justice and the 7 of Cups. How's he thinking and feeling about the connection? We've got the 10 of Swords in reverse, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and the Magician in reverse. And what's shifting for this masculine? We've got the Wheel of Fortune, the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, and the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Let's get some cards for the connecting energies. And guys, I am going to pull some charms and more oracle cards for you for guidance as we go. Whew. Remember these timeless readings. Make sure you make a note of which pile you chose, because you may be drawn back to this same video at a later date and another pile will be relevant for you then. So it really helps to make a note of which one you've watched. Connecting energies, 3 of Wands, connecting feelings, 4 of Wands, and what's shifting for them, the Page of Wands. Okay. Check they're all in shot. Yes, you can see them all. Fabulous. Let's start with our Divine Feminine. She's in this tarantula energy. In this deck, it's referred to as connection. It's a number 43, which reduces to 7, the number of divinity. Now, even though she feels pretty trapped here, that's not how I'm feeling this energy. I feel like it's more the case that she's wrapped up in her own power. This Divine Feminine feels very protected from the kind of drama that's going on outside of herself. And I do feel that she needed to protect herself. You know, she needed to kind of step into her own power. It is a defense. She is feeling quite vulnerable at the moment, but it feels like she's focused on her connection to spirit, on her protective energies, to kind of try and hold balance with this. With the 9 of Pentacles here, her current energy is very self-fulfilled. She's very focused on maintaining stability and abundance in her material world. And to be fair, I think this is what's really challenged this Divine Feminine. There may have been just so many incidences or circumstances in her 3D that require her full attention. And this has kind of pulled her away slightly from the spiritual path. And I feel like she recognizes her vulnerability when she's pulled away from her spiritual path. And so this is why she's kind of wrapping herself up in protection. Now, with Strength in reverse here, I do feel like she's stepped into quite an assertive and confrontational energy. But again, this is a defense mechanism. She does feel like she's a little bit at the end of her rope with this guy. Similar energies in pile 1, but different circumstances. But for sure, this Divine Feminine, you know, is not feeling her strongest, but she's also taking responsibility. But she's struggling to kind of let go of all of the difficulties that are in her 3D environment. There may be a karmic situation here that she knows doesn't serve her, but she can't step away from. And she's really struggling to kind of not allow her external circumstances to disturb her peace of mind. It just feels like there's a lot of chaos around her. And even though she's working very hard, you know, she's probably bringing in all the dollar that she needs and really nurturing her abundant nature. It just feels like things aren't as balanced and comfortable as they could be in other respects. You know, she is being very assertive. This is kind of alpha female energy. It's someone that's leading, that's controlling, someone that is perhaps engaging in conflict also. And there is a message here for those of you that have picked this path, that are on this Divine Feminine side, that you need to recognize that conflict doesn't serve you. This is about recognizing where you're placing your energies. You know, if it's disturbing your peace of mind, you need to take responsibility and learn not to react to it, rather than going all guns blazing in, which as I think is what has really triggered you here and kind of drummed up a lot of furious energy. But it's not really about the masculine. It feels like a lot of external circumstances rocking this feminine's boat. For the masculine, we've got fruit bat energy, and it's called kindness. And I just feel like, you know, he is moving into calmer waters. It feels like this masculine hasn't really shown up in the way he would have liked to, but he's kind of recognizing this Divine Feminine struggle right now, and he's trying. He's trying to be a very good friend at least. He's trying to be more affectionate and receptive. He's trying to be more supportive. He is frustrated because he doesn't feel like he has all of the tools, the assets or the resources to really provide and protect in the way he would want to. And so her not being in such a good place is triggering for him, but he's at least trying his very hardest to show up. And I'm hearing he's not showing up in the way he would like, or indeed in the way the feminine would like, but he is trying. He's putting himself out there. There's been a release of anxiety here. He's definitely received some kind of clarity and is moving more now towards a more optimistic perception of the connection between them in general, whereas previously his insecurities really beat him and caused him to step into pessimism and this energy of, oh, I'm never going to get what I want. Even though he can't see how he's going to get it, he's at least allowing himself to dream about what could be. There's a really optimistic, lovely vibe about this energy. He's fantasizing about what's coming. He's optimistic about what's coming. But with this Justice card in here, again, it feels like he is also dealing with karma. And I'm feeling for many, this is a relationship he's already let go of, but has kind of maybe come up to bite his ass again. I don't think it necessarily means that they're coming back together, but that this person may have come back into his zone of awareness to trigger him. And I think this is what's actually helped him release some anxiety and bring himself clarity, because he's recognizing that a lot of that magnetism and anxious attachment that existed in that karmic connection before is no longer there. And this has liberated him to have a more optimistic perception of the connection with his divine feminine. The connecting energy is the snake, and this is the energy of creation. And what I'm really, really drawn to here is how these roots are really grown, but they're just casting a shadow. Even though these two are creating a new way forward, it's not yet been grounded. It's like their hearts are drifting and they haven't been pulled together and really rooted in something stable. But both of them are patiently waiting. The connecting energy is here are the Three of Wands. And so this just feels like the energy of faith, of both parties recognizing that there are things that need to occur before they can come together, but they're at least on the right track. I think both of them know deep down that they're meant to be. Again, this energy is similar to Par 1, but different circumstances. How are they feeling about one another? This divine feminine, I feel like at the moment, the energy she's in, she's very much pulled back. This is the energy of her recognizing that even though she wants a relationship right now, it's not the right time. It doesn't serve them. She's recognizing that there's still lessons that need to be learned. She's recognizing that she's not as surrendered as she could be. So this is actually a very pragmatic and practical perception of how things are. I feel like this divine feminine may have a lot of earth in her chart, perhaps, a lot of air. I'm picking up strong Virgo, Libra and Taurus energy here. It just feels like someone that knows they've got to get their stuff together. They're recognizing the value of divine timing, the value of the journey. And so this divine feminine isn't trying to rush towards the end. With the Four of Wands as connecting energy, and also this being a progression of that 3, again, I do feel like both counterparts want union. They know they're meant to be together, and I feel like they both trust in that. But this divine feminine is definitely in this energy of knowing that will come to her in the right time. It's not something she needs to force, and it's not something she feels like she could cope with right now. I feel like this divine feminine may be coping with some mental health issues at home, either in adult children or other adults in her environment. And she's really recognizing that, her focus needs to be on the family, that she can't drop the ball there. Family, work, all of these material 3D stuff that she's got responsibility for, that she's in this alpha female role, this role of leadership. And again, for some of you, it might be letting go of karmic energy as well. But she does recognize that she's not where she wants to be or needs to be for a really satisfying union to occur. So I feel like she's quite balanced right now. She's not in full alignment because there's stuff in her 3D environment that's triggering her and challenging her and really disturbing her peace of mind. But she does know where she's meant to be, and she knows how to get back there. As I said, she's not panicked. She's not fallen too far out of alignment. It's just a little wobble. And actually, she's really released enough codependency to recognize what serves her and what doesn't. And she knows that right now this connection doesn't. The masculine as well, I think, is actually in a similar energy. He's recognizing that he doesn't have the power, resources or tools to really show up in the way that he would need to really step into this union energy. He knows there is healing still to be done. He knows that commitment that needs to be offered isn't something he's able to offer right now. And I feel like, again, you know, he's pretty accepting. It feels like both of these guys are accepting of what's going on. And I feel like they're probably in really friendly communication. You know, there's probably a fair level of interaction. It's probably quite friendly, even though it might have that romantic spark, but neither one is pushing the other to show up in a certain way. They're just taking it easy, taking it a step at a time, knowing that they're moving in the direction of romance and a loving union at some point, but neither party being in a rush to really achieve that. So it does feel like things are fairly balanced, but as I saw here with the snake, it's not grounded yet. And both of them know it's not grounded, and they know that things need to happen before it can become grounded. In terms of what's shifting, I do feel that this divine feminine may be facing some challenging energies, and I just want to reassure her that even though she might feel a bit topsy-turvy in the coming weeks, that it's just a rite of passage that she needs to go through. Because she is so evolved and so grown, she will be asked to cycle back through some of these old painful energies and see them from this different perspective. I do see her dwelling in regret and dwelling on what has been and, you know, what could have been. And she knows that doesn't serve her, but also there is a lesson here that's helping bring things back into balance. So again, I don't see her moving towards a union. I don't see that she wants that. I feel like she's going to be very much kind of holding space for herself primarily, with a view to just continuing on her healing path and allowing things to kind of transition and transform as they are meant to. It's kind of releasing control for the journey whilst trying to take control of herself and her life. For the masculine, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Now, for me, this is about him really stepping into his destiny. This is about him closing out old cycles and beginning to align with the divine path. With this Eight of Pentacles in reverse, it does feels like, you know, the challenges that this divine feminine is facing materially may also present for the masculine in the near future. It's asking him to learn his value in the world, is what I'm hearing. And with the Five of Pentacles in reverse, he's letting go of a lot of the anxiety, a lot of the triggering rejection energy that has previously made him feel disempowered from taking control of his life. Indeed, I feel he's very inspired by the example of his divine feminine, and he's looking at correcting the material imbalances in his zone of awareness. He's looking at correcting his own fear of rejection, and also fear of failure really stands out for this masculine. So this could be a change of job, it could be a new project, for sure, even a change of home. But he's definitely looking at positive, powerful change that's more aligned with his true path. The connecting energy here is the Page of Wands, and I love this because it's such a lovely, playful energy. I don't see that what they're going through as individuals is going to impact the connection too dramatically. I feel like these two have actually found a really beautiful balance of friendship, and with, you know, the occasional bit of romantic affection, just to remind each other that they both know who the other really is. And so I don't see that they're necessarily going to be blown apart by the energies that they're individually experiencing. It's more the case that they're going to continue to show up together as friends to maintain playful and friendly communication. You know, this just feels like these two have kind of found a happy balance between being there for one another but not being desperate to have more. You know, it just feels like they're both very accepting of the pace things need to move at. So let's get some oracle cards for you guys as well. This is the Island Time Wellness Lovers Oracle. Okay, we have got for the masculine, sorry, for the feminine, we've got the Mask, the Phoenix, and Photograph. And for the masculine energy, we have got Healing Heart, Coffee Cup, and Sunglasses. I'm going to use my own deck here as well. These are just messages from Spirit that I've written on blanks myself. We've got Surrender Some More, Healing is an Infinite Process. You are not being honest about the reasons for and your role in the blockages of this connection. Connect to the infinite flow of unconditional love within you. For the masculine, your higher mission involves helping others. This is not a normal relationship. Boundaries, not barriers. And I'm going to get some charms for you guys as well. So interesting how the same ones come up again and again. So we've got fake news, the aeroplane, hard times, wizard in training, babe with the power, living in perpetual sin. And for the masculine, we've got don't overthink it, the moth, the writer, the rainbow, and the asthma pump. Okay, so this divine feminine, the fact that we've got this fake one here and then the mask, which is about not showing true feelings, hiding personality, pretend, eluding or gaslighting it says surrender some more. I do feel like this divine feminine may think she's been super authentic, but she's being asked to really reflect on the things she hasn't said and why. Because there's a lot of things that she wants to say but is too scared to say, and of course it's a fear of the consequences. It's all of that rejection and abandonment fear bubbling to the surface and causing her to wear a mask where she really doesn't want to wear one. And so you are being asked to surrender to authenticity a bit more, surrender to healing those aspects of self that stop you stepping into real authenticity. I do feel like this divine feminine has been very much on track with that. But again, if you're being honest with yourself, there is more to do. You're not as honest or authentic as you could be. You're really measured in your communication and careful not to say things that you think will overwhelm or trigger your counterpart or create responses that don't match the outcome you want. And so, it's like a need to not rock the boat, and so not always saying how you truly feel. I'm also getting that this divine feminine can be really honest about the love she feels, but not so much when she's annoyed. So I don't think this masculine really sees many of her shadow aspects. He probably has this perception of her that she's just absolutely angelic, always lovely. He's not seen her lose her shit yet because she's not showing up and letting him know when she's not happy. She's pretending that things are okay. And we've got the gaslighting energy here. And I do feel like this masculine has some really negative learned behaviours. They may present as mildly narcissistic. Of course, he's not a narcissist, but he's learned these unhealthy communication patterns from childhood. And this divine feminine hasn't always got the balls to front it up and say, listen, you can't talk to me like that, or this isn't healthy. So you are being called to recognise how you need to step into real authenticity, which is being just as comfortable sharing your shadow aspects as much as it is sharing your light aspects. You're always the bigger person. You're always coming back with this loving and calm response. Sometimes a person needs to hear it straight. Sometimes a person needs your honesty, and you're not going to experience progress until you're able to step into that. This aeroplane, for me, the fact that it's facing backwards or moving into the past is asking you to step up and recognise that there are some ancestral patterns, some past life or perhaps childhood issues that you need to revisit. And regression therapy is usually indicated for me when this chart comes up. It's about travelling back so that you can have a much more broad and real perception of what challenges, healing challenges and blockages you're actually facing. And it does say here, you're not being honest about the reasons for in your role and the blockages in this connection. And it does say here, living in perpetual sin. This would suggest to me that you're not aware of many of your shadow aspects. The white rose is a symbol of purity and innocence, but all of us have shadow. No matter how much we think we've healed, our behaviours aren't always aligned with the values we would hope to uphold. And so I do feel like you really have put yourself on a pedestal, trying to be this beautiful light being, always loving, always compassionate. You're doing yourself a great misservice and not acknowledging that you're not perfect and you don't have to be. And that actually those ill behaviours that you still act out sometimes, it serves you to recognise them so that you can begin to transcend them. You are moving into a new phase here. This is the phoenix, the energy of the resurrection and growth, but it's also connected to hard times. transition and transformation is uncomfortable. It requires us to face the dark so that we can truly embody the light. And I feel like you're being asked to turn toward yourself again. The healing you thought you'd done is not really done. You have to cycle back through it. There's always more to do. Yes, it's difficult, but you're going to get through this. And of course, we've got this babe with the power charm, which is really, really beautiful, really powerful. This is reminding you of all the tools and resources you have access through your that you have access to through your connection to spirit, and that you're to you're to continue developing this. You know, if you've been investing in your psychic development and growth, now is not the time to drop the ball on that. You need to stay focused on your spiritual path. We already assessed at the beginning that you've perhaps been less focused than usual because of these 3D circumstances, but now is the time to really reflect back on that. And we have got photograph here. You know, this is about nostalgia and memories and looking back. So again, there is a need to revisit the heart past here, but to remember that through your power, you know, you're connected to this infinite flow of unconditional love. You always have the power to feel better. And so that should empower you to face your shadow aspects, because yes, we have to revisit that pain again. It doesn't feel good or comfortable, but you know that you don't have to dwell in that pain. You know how to elevate yourself from it. For the masculine, healing heart, healing from heartbreak and freedom from toxic relationship addictions. As I said, I feel like a karmic has reared its head in this connection, and this masculine, now like a moth to the flame, he's coming out of the dark. He's stopped overthinking it, or he's going to stop overthinking it. This is an end to those awful patterns of intrusive thoughts that have kept him stuck in this toxic, addictive karmic pattern. I really see him recognizing that all of the mistakes, the pain, the toxicity that he's experienced is supporting a higher mission. He may have known this about himself or the connection. You know, we have got the Four of Wands here. For me, that's a very twin flamey symbol. If this is the kind of relationship you guys are experiencing and your person knows, I do feel like he's now recognizing that all of this has purpose. You know, the karmic connection, the pain he's been through, the love you've demonstrated, the healing you're working on together. He's recognizing it has a purpose for him. And we've got writer here. You know, for some of you, your person's gonna, perhaps they're already a writer, perhaps they enjoy expressing themselves that way. But I really feel like this masculine is growing. He's coming out of the dark. He's moving towards the light. He's healing his heart, letting go of old patterns, and recognizing something about himself that he didn't before, something about his mission, his forward path. We've got coffee cup here, meetings, savouring moments, feeling uplifted and friendship. And I do feel like, as I said, you two are kind of pretty good at just maintaining a nice, steady, peaceful communication. It does say here, this is not a normal relationship and you can't make it so. Trust and surrender to the path. And I feel like this is where this masculine is really at and continuing to move towards. He's recognizing that it doesn't have to be like other relationships, and actually he probably doesn't want it to be. He's had a great deal of dysfunction, I'm feeling, in his past. So he's prepared to be patient. He's surrendering to the need to heal now. He's surrendering to the need to see this connection in a fresh, new way, to recognize that it's not just about romance, it's about growth, it's about healing, it's about self-empowerment, and there is hope here. You know, the umbrella is a symbol of hope and optimism, a symbol of wishing. The fact that all of the chakra colors are referenced here as well, I just feel like he's moving towards energy work and energetic alignment as well. He's releasing a lot of anxiety. We saw this with this Eight of Swords reversed, but with this asthma pump, this feels like a support. This feels like him breaking through in terms of really releasing all of those toxic thought patterns, the anxiety, the stress, the depression. And, you know, with the sunglasses here, he's keeping a very close eye on his feminine. But look, we've got this gaslighting thing come up here with the mask and the sunglasses. I do feel like he needs to kind of face... he needs to face himself. You know, he needs to be recognizing his own negative traits, his own, he needs to recognize that his behaviors aren't always healthy. And this boundaries, not barriers thing, I feel like he's never really had healthy boundaries. And so he doesn't know what healthy boundaries really look like. This can cause him sometimes to place really rigid barriers or to have really weak boundaries. It's like he's not found that perfect equilibrium in the middle. And so, you know, I do feel like there might be a little bit of push-pull energy coming from him when she does step up and challenge some of his behaviours, and that might resort to some kind of initial pulling back in his world. The feminine is guided not to be triggered by that, to recognise it's just about him bringing it back into balance. Because I do feel like this masculine, as I said, he's moving into an energy of greater compassion, of wanting to step up and contribute more. But he's still not very comfortable receiving criticism because his sense of self-worth is still quite fragile. So, you know, he may not respond well initially to her very fair feedback about his shadow aspects. He may actually pull away, have either, you know, very rigid boundaries, or it could also refer to the weak boundaries which he's previously encountered in the karmic situation, moving to the opposite extreme. Either way, there's a lot of growth on this masculine side. It does feel like, as I said, both of them are at least in the energy of communication and moving forward as friends, and that's truly where they need to be. So I hope that was helpful, part 2. Thank you as always for tuning in. Make sure you make a note of which part you've watched. Make sure you hit the like button. And if you would like to leave a comment and tell me how it resonated, I appreciate that too. I love hearing from you. If you want to see more content like this, tap the little subscribe button and the bell icon next to it. And that means you'll get an update every time I post. Hopefully I'll see you at my classes soon, or I'll see you here next time. Lots of love. Bye. Hello, Path 3. Welcome back to my channel. You have chosen the Spiral Tarot with Celestite. This is a beautiful deck I received from River. Thank you very much, River. You guys are so sweet. If you would like to donate a tarot deck, you can find a link to my Amazon wishlist in my description box below. Of course, it's not necessary ever, but an energy exchange is always appreciated. And if you can't donate, or you can't donate a deck, you know, it's no problem. But I do appreciate it when you watch my adverts. 1 minute of an advert in return for a free reading on YouTube. It's such a beautiful and simple energy exchange, your time for mine, and it really does make the world of difference to me. I've noticed so many more of you doing that, and I can't thank you enough. Honestly, it really, really helps. You guys are amazing, so thank you for that. So I'm going to use this deck for the Divine Feminine energies. I've got this deck for the Connecting energies and the High Tarot for the masculine energies. By the way, Dan Francis has still got some first edition copies of this tarot deck. He's actually going to be designing my oracle deck. Yes, an oracle deck. It's coming to you next spring, hopefully. Watch this space. But if you want to get this deck from Dan in the meantime, you can still buy it. This deck is also beautiful. It's the Oak Ash Thorn. It's a new independently created deck. Absolutely wonderful. And I really adore supporting independent creators. So you can find a link to this deck in the description box below also. Now, I'm going to use those 3 decks and the Divine Animal Oracle. We're going to get an energy card just as like a significator for each counterpart and the connecting energies. We'll start with the Divine Feminine. Oh, that's lovely. We've got Dolphin. And for the masculine, we've got Dog. And for the connecting energies here, we've got the Snow Leopard. Right, so whilst I have a shuffle of these, you guys, just to remind you that I've just announced new classes. My mailing list got a head start, so there's not many spaces left on my Mediumship for Beginners class. If you want to do that class, it starts in January. Hurry while stocks last. I think there's a couple of places left on each group. There's a few places, not many, but a few places left also on my Return to One class, which is all about surrendering and healing. If you're struggling with self-love deficit, codependence, you know, if you're on the twin flame or soulmate path and you're finding it hard, that is the class for you. We work in a really tight-knit, intimate group. I will be there live to guide you every step of the way and to share with you all the tips, tricks and techniques that helped me find my happy place and return to one. You know, that's what I'm here for. And I've got to say, I love this class so much. I honestly think it's the class I was always meant to do. I've been meaning to do it for ages. I've only just got round to it. And now that I'm actually doing it, I'm like, oh my God, this is the one. This is where the healing's at. I'm just absolutely loving it. So hopefully you'll join me there too. Okay, let's give these a shuffle too. And don't forget to check me out on Instagram as well. You can find me over there at Happy Souls 1111. I've not been posting over there too much recently. I'm still getting back into the swing of things. Lockdown really threw me and my circumstances for six. I've also been moving house in the middle of all that. So it's been crazy, but I'm going to get back into a regular routine very soon. And I do love Instagram. When I channel in writing, it's very different to how I channel verbally. So my readings over there, obviously they're shorter, but they're also quite different. Okay, let's do this. Part 1, Divine Feminine Energies. Current energies for the Divine Feminine are the Six of Cups, the King of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands. How's she thinking of feeling about this connection? We've got Six of Pentacles in reverse, Five of Pentacles in reverse, and the Sun in reverse. And what's shifting for this Divine Feminine? We've got the Two of Pentacles, the Empress in reverse, and the High Priestess in reverse. And for our masculine, with the High Tarot, do love these cards. I have to say, of all the decks I've got, this is the deck that feels the most lovely in my hand. They are such a joy to shuffle. And first edition decks are always worth having. You know, they'll be very collectible. They'll always hold, if not increase their value. Okay, so we've got the Chariot in reverse, the Nine of Swords, and that's my daughter that's immortalised in that card. We've got the Page of Pentacles. How's he thinking of feeling about the connection? We've got the Three of Wands in reverse. We've got the World. We've got the Ten of Cups in reverse. And what's shifting for him? We've got the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, the Two of Cups, and the Knight of Cups in reverse. And from the Oak Ash Thorn deck, this is really such a beautiful deck. Connecting energies here. The Six of Pentacles in reverse, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and the Five of Cups. Okay, part 3. I'm going to pull some charms and oracle cards for you as well as we go. But for now, we're just going to focus on these that I can actually fit on the table. So our Divine Feminine, she is in this dolphin energy, and this is really beautiful. It's called happiness, and indeed I always see dolphin energy as so very joyful. Someone that's very aligned with their emotions, someone that's very comfortable in their emotional depths, someone that has found peace, joy, and just an overall sense of well-being. I just get the feeling that this Divine Feminine is really in her power right now. Look at this, the Six of Cups. This is a soulmate card. You know, she is feeling really good about this connection. She knows what it is and she knows what it isn't. But I feel with this card in particular that even though she knows what's on the horizon, the fact that it's in black and white, you know, it's not yet in glorious technicolor, I feel like she's recognizing that she's on her way there, but she doesn't need to be there yet. This is a Divine Feminine that's already stepped into her power. She is powerful. She is abundant. We've got the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands here. For some of you, this could mean you're married already. And that you're actually quite comfortable and satisfied with your circumstances. You can see a union in your future with this person, but right now you're quite happy, comfortable and secure where you are. You are stepping into your spiritual self. You are learning the truth of who you are. You're learning to express your divinity. This is someone that's passionate, driven, grounded, just really, really beautiful energy. She's looking at this connection from a very healthy state of mind. My throat's really triggered by this pile. I don't have a cough or any issues. It's literally just started as I've started reading. That does happen. It feels pinched. So this Divine Feminine, I'm feeling while she's so self-satisfied, she's also very reluctant to communicate this to her masculine. I do feel like he's not in such a good place. And so, you know, she may keep to herself how comfortable she is where she is. She may not necessarily communicate the love she has for her husband. I do feel like there's probably not a great deal of communication here, full stop. And that actually this Divine Feminine feels that that would be an act of betrayal to her current circumstances. It really does feel like she's kind of, there's so much she wants to say, but as I said, my throat feels really triggered. It's pinched. It's like she's keeping it all in. You know, she knows what serves her right now and she knows what doesn't. And right now she's focused on her own happiness and maintaining pardon me, my throat's really going crazy. She's maintaining all of the stability and abundance and the joy that she's already created for herself. So I feel like she's observing her counterpart, but is probably holding back and isn't interacting a great deal. The masculine is in this dog energy. Now, in this card, it's called companionship, but honestly, I just feel like it's the ill-dignified version of the dog. And, you know, we call men dogs when they're not very loyal. And I just feel like this masculine is not so much in alignment with the divine plan. I feel like he's been in quite an immature energy, a player energy. He's very intimacy avoidant. He's not come forward. And this is why this divine feminine is so comfortable accepting and sitting with her present circumstances that serve her, because she's eyeing up this masculine and is seeing that he's a bit of a game boy. He's not really, demonstrating any committed behaviours. He's not in alignment with the truth of who he is. I'm hearing that this particular masculine has some addiction problems, or perhaps just issues around coping. There's certainly a tremendous amount of anxiety here with this Nine of Swords. I'm going to bring this card closer just because it's my daughter. That's my beautiful eldest daughter, Amber. Immortalised here. In fact, all the faces in this deck I recognise because they're friends of Amber's and Dan's. Indeed, in my own oracle deck, there'll be lots of people I know featured. I'm so excited to get that moving. But anyway, I'm so sorry, I digress. Back to your reading. Yeah, this divine masculine's not in a good place. You know, he's tormented by anxiety, by stress, by depression. He's probably in a dark night of the soul. He doesn't have healthy coping mechanisms, may lean towards addiction and very destructive or distracting behaviours. You know, this is a party boy. He's in this very it's a playful energy, but it's also avoidant commitment. You know, I do feel like he would like to speak to his feminine, but he doesn't know how to. And I do get this impression of him just feeling small, that he just doesn't feel worldly enough. There may be a tremendous age gap here between you two, but certainly for this guy, he kind of restrains his own impulses to take action towards his feminine, because he just kind of feels like he probably won't be received anyway. He feels very much less than what he needs to be. And indeed, this Six of Pentacles energy is the connecting energy here, and it's in reverse, really does demonstrate that there's not much give and take here. I feel like there's a separation, there's not a great deal of communication, but with this energy up here, the connecting energy being the snow leopard, the watcher. And by the way, I mean, for those of you that don't know much about the twin connection, and don't worry if you're not a twin, just let this bit go, it's not for you. But the twin flame connection does look very much like, energetically, like this image here. We have the divine feminine energy on the left, the masculine on the right, and then this ring of light that connects them. And there's also lights at the top and bottom as is presented here. So I feel like you are watching each other astrally. For those of you that are in that soulful connection, there's probably a lot of telepathic communication and interaction, a lot of energetic exchanges. But with this Six of Pentacles is the connecting energy in reverse, I just feel like there's definitely not much give and take here. You know, things are very much still. There's probably no interaction in the 3D. In terms of how they're feeling about the connection, we also have the Six of Pentacles here in reverse for the divine feminine. She's very comfortable, not giving, not receiving, and just being still, getting on with her own life. And with the Five of Pentacles here, she's not even feeling rejected by this anymore. You know, this is a divine feminine that, you know, she's not allowing her desire to overwhelm her heart or to overwhelm her practical nature. And with the Sun in reverse, you know, I do feel that she's not happy with him anyway. You know, she's not happy with how he has previously presented in life. I feel like if this is your twin flame or soulmate, she's probably not happy that this is the person that is her counterpart. You know, she's kind of like, why this guy? Really? Did I really choose this person? There's definitely some ego about this. You know, this divine feminine is definitely not loving in an unconditional way, but she is at least loving in a healthy way. I do feel that she's arrived at this journey at least with healthy expectations, but she's not understanding her own divinity. She's stepping into her spiritual power, but I do feel she's at the beginning of that learning journey. And so actually, while she's not feeling rejected by him, she is rejecting him. She's kind of looking at this guy and thinking, well, he doesn't tick any of my boxes. He doesn't have much to offer me, and his happiness isn't my responsibility or concern. This divine feminine's perhaps got more avoidance attachment than she has anxious. As I said, she knows what's good for her and she's quite happy to hold on to it. She's not going to allow herself to step into a situation that doesn't serve her, and she really sees that right now this masculine doesn't serve her. Now for him, in terms of how he's feeling, he's not waiting around. I do feel he's quite shrewd, he's quite manipulative, he's probably doing silly things to make her jealous, which she's just kind of rolling her eyes at and thinking, oh my goodness, you're an absolute bellend. I do see that he's, as I said, he's in this Game Boy energy. He thinks it's over. He thinks he really doesn't want it. And I just want to reassure you that masculine energy, when it's deeply an ego, when it isn't awakened, and when it's disconnected from its emotional body, when it's disconnected from its heart space, masculine energy doesn't necessarily respond to these spiritual connections in the emotional way that the feminine does. But actually, I feel like both of these counterparts have some kind of blockages and ego issues here that they haven't quite transcended yet. Of course, more so the masculine, but I think even the feminine is judging her masculine quite harshly right now. And this masculine, because he's been rejected, he's decided, well, I don't want this anyway, it's over. So I do feel like both of them are kind of in this energy of rejecting the other and really thinking that they don't care, that there isn't going to be a new beginning, that there isn't going to be any change. This is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Both of them are feeling like this connection can't happen and probably won't get off the ground. But there is still this inkling in the back of their minds. Why do I keep thinking about this person? Why are they still in my dreams, in my feelings, in my daydreams? I don't get it. They might not be in your heart, but they are present with you. And that is the kind of annoying thing. I feel like neither one of them has quite let go. They're kind of irritated by this presence of the other within their field and zone of awareness. But in terms of what's shifting for them, I do feel this divine feminine's about to really bring things into balance. With the Two of Pentacles here, she's now starting to weigh up what she knows about her 3D life in relation to what she's learning and, beginning to understand about her 5D self. And so with the Empress and the High Priestess in reverse, I feel like her focus is now moving towards her own divine femininity and potential evolution and growth in that area, and also more focused on psychic development and recalibrating her intuitive senses. She is recognizing that she does dismiss her own intuitive nature, and I feel that she's going to be moving into this energy of learning, of really opening up to her own divinity, of really stepping into her power and beginning to understand what this journey means. But as I said, this divine feminine's arrived here with a kind of healthier state of mind than most. So I feel like she's going to move forward fairly smoothly and fairly quickly. She's already got a lot of the tools she needs to be successful. I don't think she is in recognition yet of her codependent nature. She probably wouldn't describe herself as a distorted feminine. And honestly, I don't think you'd perceive her as one if you met her either. I think she is quite strong. She's got her life together. Again, she's got quite a balanced perspective. She doesn't get overwhelmed or out of control, but she is learning that maybe she's a little bit more codependent than she thought, because she really loves her comfort zone, and she's perhaps not as confident being on her own as she might be without this beautiful, abundant relationship where, even though she's quite happy, she knows there's more. I don't think she feels deeply in love and fulfilled. She's just comfortably satisfied. There's an energy of contentment here, but there isn't an energy of ecstatic, euphoric, fulfillment. And so she knows there's something missing, and she knows she needs to create change. But as I said, because she's already got a fairly stable foundation of self-worth, she's building upon it and moving towards, understanding her divine feminine nature and opening up to spirit in a way she hasn't before. This masculine, I do feel like he's actually going to swing back in and try again. It will probably fall on deaf ears. We've got the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, and we see here this hand holding out a shell. I don't think he's going to make a dramatic emotional offer, because that Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. But with this Two of Cups here and this card, I do think it's going to be some offer. Whatever the offer is, it's probably not going to be enough, but he's certainly putting his ass on the line. We have got the Knight of Cups in reverse here though as well, and we see this wolf howling at the moon, and the fact that it's in reverse really demonstrates the distorted way in which he's going to come forward. I don't think this is going to be a really mature or romantic offer, it's going to be distorted. You know, the energy of it is going to be warped. And we've got this Five of Cups energy here, which is disappointment. You know, he's going to find he's rejected and be disappointed, and she's going to find that his offer stinks, and she's going to just, you know, reject him. So I don't see that this is moving towards any kind of union energies, even though the masculine might step up and try, because really he's not coming at it with any sincerity. If anything, I feel like it's the energy of being bored, knowing he's probably barking up the wrong tree, but hey, I might get some fun out of it. If you don't ask, you don't get, right? It's that kind of energy. It's not sincere. And I feel like the divine feminine will spot that a mile away, and she's certainly not going to entertain it. So I don't see these two guys making progress with each other. And in all sincerity, I don't see this divine masculine even making much progress on his own. He's very stuck. Okay, he's in a very emotionally stunted stage of his life where he's, again, if he's not younger, he's certainly got a much more youthful perspective of life and relationships. He's showing no indication of coming out of those energies, whereas our divine feminine is showing steady progress, a focus on opening up to, you know, the truth of who she is, and really beginning to slowly but carefully and mindfully make adjustments in her life that serve her. So let's get some oracle cards and charms. For the feminine, we've got mirror, we've got separation, we've got photograph. For the masculine, we've got sunglasses, mask, and healing heart. And I'm going to get some of these cards as well. These are just blanks that I've written messages from Spirit on myself. Your person is reflecting back at you your shadow. Look at that coming up under mirror. Isn't that mad? You are entering a period of deep transformation. Release bitterness, anger, resentment, envy. Embrace forgiveness. For the masculine, stop running. You are not being honest with yourself. And your words and actions are not the truth. Your energy is the truth. Energy doesn't lie. It's great advice for everyone, you know. Okay, let's get some charms as well. The same ones keep coming up. It's really interesting. One more. Okay. So for our feminine, we've got the yin yang whales. We've got the hourglass. We've got fake news, no idea, and the moth. And for the masculine, we've got bitch spray, living in perpetual sin. I'm trying and that's enough. Ooh la la. The police car. And why? Okay. So our divine feminine, the guidance for you. Regardless of whether this... oh, there's one more there. I didn't spot it. Hello. I'm a bad idea. Okay. So divine feminine, whether you're a twin flame or not, this relationship is teaching you something. It's reflecting back at you the shadow that you're not seeing in yourself. You're mirroring each other, self-image relationships, reflecting our own wounds and introspection. Now, this is coming up over this yin-yang symbol as well. You know, it's asking you to recognize that light and dark exists in all of us. And I do pick up a little bit of self-righteousness in your energy here. You know, you may perceive yourself to be this very loving, very calm person, but you're really not recognizing the shadow that exists in you. Now, this person is projecting those shadow aspects at you, and you might be outraged by that suggestion. You may be looking at them and saying, this person is a waster. They are doing nothing with their life. They don't know how to treat people. They are immature and childish. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to have a healthy relationship, and they definitely don't deserve me. But they are showing pieces of themselves that are also in you. You may not see it. It's probably just below the surface of your conscious awareness. But again, you've got this hourglass here. You know, this polar opposite. There's light and dark in either of us. And it really doesn't serve you to think that you're already perfectly made and that there's no room for improvement. There is always room for improvement. I'm really drawn next to this. I've got no idea. I've got no idea what I'm meant to do here, what I'm meant to be healing, what I'm meant to be fixing. I feel quite good about life. I have to say, and this might not resonate for some of you, but I'm just picking up on the energy of disassociation as well. Quite often when we experience trauma, especially in childhood, we disassociate from it. That's to say it's almost removed from our conscious memory. And if you can't remember all of your childhood, or if there's big gaps in your memory, you find that when you look back, it's not, you can't quite grasp what happened. That's a really strong indication that you've got unresolved trauma that you're not even aware of. It does say here separation is sadness, and an unsure future. And I do feel like you're leaning towards this person just being a big fake pile of doo-doo, and that you're just thinking none of this is real. I don't need to pay attention to all this twin stuff, this mirroring stuff, this journey stuff, this healing stuff. But you're watching this reading today because you know it is, okay? I'm just going to be really blunt with you. And there's I don't think you're actually that capable of connecting with the depth of your emotions to be able to face the pain that actually resides there. Your heart is quite closed off, and this is what allows you to maintain this quite stable, balanced and kind of happy state, because you've packed your trauma up in the suitcase very tightly and you've not unpacked it for a really long time. But you are entering a period of deep transformation, and this can be uncomfortable. It's about being unsure of your future. It's about sadness. So for me, it does suggest, especially with this moth energy, and moths being this energy of, the dark, they're drawn to the light, but they start in the dark. It does feel like, you are moving towards a release. And of course, we have the bitterness, anger, resentment, envy. These are probably things you don't acknowledge about yourself. Again, we've got this photos, this nostalgic energy that you need to reflect back on. You may think this person's just a bad idea and you see no value in this connection. You don't think they're right for you. And certainly right now they're not. But they are the right teacher. They are trying to teach you something about yourself. And this energy of them isn't going away. You've got to face what this journey is asking of you. And it's asking you to grow. It's asking you to recognize the truth of who you are. It's telling you that, look, I know you think you're happy, but believe me, there's more. You can feel even better. You can be even more abundant, and you can certainly have more awareness, more knowing, and a greater sense of well-being if you just turn and face yourself. Now, this person, they are wearing a mask. Their perception is completely warped and distorted. And of course, we see them continuing to run. And it does say here about that separation. And they've got this bitch spray. This is someone who's very avoidant and probably putting up barriers or deliberately behaving in a way that's repellent. And, little boys, and I say little boys, they're adults, but silly boys, do this. They think, well, rather than actually tell someone I'm not interested right now, they just behave like jerks so that we choose to avoid them, right? It's just the easier route. It's a really childish method. But again, this person is living in sin. And with this police car here, it's already come up, the energy of addiction. This person is perhaps not choosing very healthy or ethical a life path for themselves. I just feel like they are potentially in with the wrong crowd or have taken a dark turn in life. They are pursuing everything that isn't right and good for them. They're wearing masks. They're not being able to acknowledge their true feelings, let alone express them. They are trying, and it says it's enough, and it probably is. I just feel like they're promiscuous. They're toxic. They're addictive. They have addictive personalities and behaviours. They're not able to be honest with themselves. They don't see or recognise the truth of their own actions and behaviours. They really are not taking responsibility for themselves. So I don't see much shifting for this person. Of course, that it's a healing cycle. And I do feel like they're like, why am I still thinking of this woman? Why? They just don't get it. They don't know why they're so passionately drawn to you, and they're running from it hard. This person is just kind of trying to avoid the notion that there's any feelings connected to it. They've got their dark glasses on, they've got their mask on, they're really convincing themselves that it's just lust, it's misplaced lust, and they're going to be able to get over it. So I do see them really staying in the dark, really continuing to nurture these very repellent behaviours, not looking at themselves, being involved in criminal activity, drug activity, just destructive things that don't serve them. They are on not a very healthy trajectory. And so you kind of just need to let them run their course in that respect. I don't see it coming together here, but I do see growth dramatically over here. I tell you what, pardon me, I'll tell you in what respect you are mirroring one another is that neither one of you is truly aware of your shadow. They might be expressing their shadow in a really obvious way. Yours is hidden. You're expressing a light, but your shadow, you're not aware of it. You're no more aware of it than they are. You're just more mature in how you carry it. Yeah, they're acting out like a kid. You're really dignified in how you're carrying yours, but it's still there. All of this dysfunctional energy that's showing up in them, the resentment, the pettiness, it's in you as well. They really are a perfect mirror for you right now, even if you don't see it. And I know that's a triggering thought, but you know, these are perhaps the behaviors that you would have ended up embodying if you hadn't got on this balanced, stable path. You know, this person's had a bit more dysfunction than you. They've not had such a fortunate outcome to perhaps similar traumas and shadow aspects, but you are definitely mirroring each other. Neither one of you is seeing the truth of your shadow. Whew, that's deep. I hope that helped part 3. As always, hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Make sure you tap the subscribe button and the little bell icon so that you're updated next time I post. Comment down below, let me know what you think. And thank you for watching the adverts. I appreciate it so much. As I said, it makes the world of difference to me. You are an absolute hero. Love you loads, and I'll see you next time. Bye.